Hello video game fans, what's up? It is I, FGF Chris, and today we're going to be talking about the awesomeness as Final Fantasy VII Remake. It was released on the PS4 as a Japanese RPG game with the core mechanics of turn-based strategy infused with real-time action. It was released by Square Enix in the year 2020 on April 10th, and this game is really off the hook. So without further ado, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and then I'll add my final thoughts at the end of this rant. So let's begin. For those who don't know about Final Fantasy VII, or were born in the year 2000 and up, Final Fantasy VII is a game that was released back in 1997 and for the PS1, and really took the world by storm. It was a revolutionary idea to have 3D polygons for the first time in a Final Fantasy title, and great gameplay, an awesome system, which is arguably the best system in a Final Fantasy game to date. It is a materia system. Basically, you run around the map trying to collect these orbs, and these orbs give you magical powers, status changes, and all these other variants that boost up your character's attack and defense. And because of this materia system, it makes a very linear game feel very explorational. It is really far out. I figured it's important to note some stuff about the original Final Fantasy VII game for the PS1 before we start talking about the remake. So let me get this off my chest. So the premise of Final Fantasy VII is you start off as Cloud Strife, a mercenary for hire and an ex-soldier for the Shinra Electric Company. He teams up with Barrett Wallace and eventually Tifa Lockhart and Aerith Gainsborough to stop Shinra Electric Company from destroying the world and the Mako energy, which is the essence and lifeblood of the planet. The original Final Fantasy VII was a huge game when it was released for the PS1. It took up 3 discs because the game is freaking huge. A lot of hours of gameplay goes into it. At the very beginning of Final Fantasy VII, you start out in the dystopian hellhole that is Midgar. And it takes literally 3 to 5 hours to accomplish all the goals that you have in Midgar, stopping Shinra, escaping Midgar, and all that jazz. Anyways, let's fast forward now 20 some years into the future. Now that we have Final Fantasy VII Remake, the story is 100% in Midgar. Now some of you guys might be a little discouraged to hear that if you haven't played the game yet. You're like, hey, Midgar was so quick to beat in the original Final Fantasy VII. Well, in this one, the remake, they turned a 3 to 5 hour story into 30 to 40 hour story. And they really made a bold move in doing it. So now we're going to be talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake. Without further ado, let's talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and my personal thoughts of Final Fantasy VII The Remake. Okay, the good. I really love the aesthetics of this game. It is beautiful. The developers, you could tell, took a lot of time to make this game really pop out and make you feel like you're actually in Midgar. Also, the combat system is a lot of fun in this game. Oh man, it is fast, frantic, but allows you to take a step back and to input moves like in a turn-based game. And once you have your ATB meter fills up, you have access to your items, skills, and spells. And when you press the X button, it brings you to a menu and stops and really slows down time to a crawl, where you can take your time to input the correct commands of what you want to do with your character. And other than that, it's hack and slash awesomeness with a little bit of strategy put into it as well. It is a very good balance of people that like action and people that like strategy, and it's brilliant. Another thing I loved about this game is the story and characters. Oh my god, there's so much personality. Even the NPCs, non-playable characters, have a lot of life to them as well. And you really feel for the people of Midgar, and you could see the situation that they're dealing with in life. And it really brings like this feeling of empathy and compassion. You really feel sentimental for the characters. Um, there's so much life and love in this game. People going through struggles, people finding happiness in the smallest of things. And it's a very beautiful story with very awesome characters. And the story itself is pretty brilliant. Basically, you start off as these eco terrorists, which some people would call revolutionaries, or good terrorists, or whatever you want to call them. I mean, terror is terror, it's not good. But you still side with your heroes, even if they have controversial issues. To capitalize on the story a little bit, this game is very complex in the storyline department. It is really, really complex to the point where it would take me like a Lord of the Ring amount of hours to tell you the whole entire story of Final Fantasy VII. In fact, there's many things in this game that I'm not even sure what's going to happen, especially the ending of this game. Some people thought the ending was good, some people thought it was bad. I personally liked it because it kind of suspended my disbelief a little bit. And yeah, made me really, really excited to see the sequels to this remake. And I think everyone's waiting for that. Yeah, this game is packed. One of my most favorite aspects of this game is the cinematic boss battles. Like, you literally feel like you're controlling a movie when you're battling some of these bosses. Like, my favorite one was when you fight Rude and Reno on top of the Sector 7 pillar. It is really far out and really frantic. So now let's talk about the bad. And there's not too much I had a problem with in this game, except for the pacing. The pacing is very daunting. Okay, and I understand that Square Enix was trying their best to turn a 3 to 5 hour story into a 35-hour game. And in doing so, they had to make sacrifices to make the game longer. And those sacrifices were fillers. Basically, you have a lot of silly fetch missions like finding someone's cat or helping an old lady. I mean, those were a little bit daunting, and you don't really get much from it. You don't get any good weapons, you don't get any good items or materia, and it kind of was a little bit lame with the amount of fetch missions that they had in this game. Another thing is, even though the cutscenes are very epic, some of them drag on a little bit too long, and sometimes getting from point A to point B is a mindless task. However, those are the only real gripes I have. Now, there is one more I do have, kinda. I wish the game was longer, and I can't wait for 2 to come out. But it was long, and it was fun, and I'm playing through it again currently. But it feels like they could have done more with it. But then again, what we have is a very beautiful, awesome game. So anyway, let's talk about the ugly. Your crickets? Yeah, there is nothing ugly about this game. This game is off the freaking hook. So yeah, I'm going to give my final opinions here in this rant. And yeah, when it comes to the RPG genre, I would say it's my favorite video game genre next to fighting games. I really enjoy a good RPG, and Final Fantasy VII Remake was the perfect game, not only for my current enjoyment, but also because of the nostalgia I felt when I played the original back when I was in high school. And it really made me feel like, wow, they took something from the past, put it in the present and made it like 10 times more beautiful. And it's just really cool. Now, I love the original Final Fantasy VII, but if they're going to make a remake and do it right, they already have. Square Enix really nailed this game. And I'm literally playing it through my second time, and I'm having a blast. So if I was going to give this game a rating, it would be a 9 out of 10. I think that's a fair score. No game's perfect. I never do 10 out of 10s. So 9 out of 10 is pretty much as perfect as you're going to get. Great story, great characters, great combat system. Materia system is awesome. But, you know, it is a little slow-paced with the fetch missions. And the dialogue is pretty talky. But it is a really fun game. I love the materia system so much. I wish they incorporated that in other Final Fantasy installments, because that was a really cool, a cool system to have. So anyway, you guys take care. Peace out. Game on.